Welcome back to our favorite place, the Good Vibes Room, on another episode where Erlis and I, two of your favorite loan officers from the MVM group, powered by Cardinal Financial, and we're here with some of our favorite people, I would say. What would you think, Erlis?
They are our favorite people. I think they're our favorite. You know what? I'll tell you why they're our favorite in a minute, but go ahead and lead us in.
Oh, thank you.
So, we are here with Mrs. Gio Bariel and another member of the G Money team, Mr. Jamie Rossi.
So, JB, first and foremost, thank you for giving us your time. Again, Jamie does work with us as part of our team. We share the same office together. You've been with us for quite some time. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, how long you been in the business? How'd you get started? What brought you back in? Give us some insight.
So I started in the business in 2004. Loved the business, looked at the nature of the business. Got out of the business for a while to pursue other interests that were unrelated to real estate or mortgages, and then just recently came back into the business and just kind of picked up where I left off, and here I am with you guys, and certainly excited to continue this into the very, very far future.
So what did you miss the most? I mean, you left it in 2004. I mean, the market tanked.
No, I started.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize.
2009.
Okay.
What did I love about the business? The energy that we had in the office with our team.
Good.
I think the ability to help someone solidify their dream of home ownership, right? Because without us,
right,
for most people, there's no ability to pursue and secure that dream of home ownership.
Absolutely.
And I think most importantly, what I enjoyed the most is the relationships that I built with my customers.
So you said enjoyed. Yeah. What about now? Bring me up to speed. What do you enjoy now? I mean, you got a great leader, Gio right over here. You know, look at her smiling bright over there. Tell us, what do you enjoy the most?
Well, I think some of the same foundational aspects of what I enjoyed still remain. But I think what I enjoy now more about the business is my mindset toward the business.
Beautiful.
That I actually enjoy the intricacies of doing life with my customers and not so much being concerned about getting a loan closed, because as you mature, you realize that with your team, you're going to get the loan closed, but enjoying the process. See, before, I didn't really necessarily enjoy the process until the loan actually closed. Now I enjoy the process, whether that's challenges that come along or not, or just getting to know my customer. I enjoy the process more so, where before I just enjoyed the destination.
Gotcha. You brought up a good point here. And folks, we want to bring up to you today the inflation. We want to expand on it. We spoke briefly about it a few episodes ago.
All right, talk about it really because of Jamie's reaction to it.
Okay, let's go back.
That was a fire that, like, if you saw the reaction on his face, it was like a kid on Christmas.
So his eyes lit up. You're saying,
oh, yeah. This girl was ready to go. Not wasn't a kid. He was all sorts of fired up. It just wants to get talk.
Let's go. Because it's a gift that you get on Christmas. The reason that my eyes lit up is because inflation affects all of us. It doesn't matter how much you make or what you do for work. It is an automatic tax increase on every single person. Doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you're from. It impacts every single working man and woman. Regardless of your income, it's an automatic tax increase. Touching every single person. And my real reaction to this was Erlis saying, it's 8 or 9%. And we know this data that they come out with,
right,
and they give you a number, like all data can be manipulated. But when I go to the grocery store, or my wife goes to the grocery store, we're not paying 8% more on our groceries from this year to last year. It's far, far greater.
Correct.
And the reason that I got a little excited about it is because I kind of attribute the data that we know through experience isn't really true, because our pocketbooks and our checkbooks and our bank accounts tell us it's more than that. But I think it's just, in the business that we're in, we want to be authentic with people, and we want to be honest with people so that we can meet or exceed their expectations and not give them a pie in the sky scenario of how things are going to go. So I think it's a great way to build trust with people and build a relationship with people. In our line of work, we want to what? We want to under-promise and over-deliver.
And I think if you hold on to that thought and you underline how important that is, if we look back over the last 2 years, it's been something that we've never seen before. Prices have skyrocketed so much, so fast, that people think, oh man, I'm going to make $100,000 on my house overnight. In a normal market, it's not that. You know, you're not going to buy your house today and make $100,000 and sell your house for $100,000 more in 6 months and then buy yourself something new.
Right.
Realistically speaking, you're going to buy yourself something nice, and you're going to be there a few years, 4 or 5, and then you're going to make some equity. And is your house going to appreciate? Yes. Appreciate at 8, 12, 40% that we've seen in the last few years? No. Let's be modest here. Let's bring it back down to reality, guys. So that's another part of inflation that nobody's talking about. So part of us being loan officers, we do need to drive that into people's heads is 2 years from now, when that person calls you, I want to sell my house that I bought for $200,000 or nowadays $600,000. You're not going to sell it for $2.4 million. Correct.
So there's rules and regulations that that control the sales prices and whatnot. But I want to take this to Gio real quick. So Gio, you've had customers and clients that come to you and say, hey, what does this inflation mean? So in your own words, I mean, sometimes we have to break it down to them. What would you say? How does inflation impact the customer's thinking? What would you say?
They just think everything is so expensive. And for the most part, it depends on who you're talking to, but you'll get the customer doesn't want to buy anything because we're going through inflation. Because they think it's going to come down here soon and they're going to be able to make a better purchase in about a year and a half or so. And then you have those who just don't even see this inflation and just want to keep pouring their money into it because...
Would you say it's trust that they've developed because of how good you are at what you do?
No.
Well, what do you think it is?
Their status, their everyday, the way they think about... I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Jamie real quick. So I'm going to go back to the scenario you said when you and your wife go grocery shopping, right? And you said that the fruits and vegetables, they don't cost 8.5% more, just like here in the media. So the 8.5% is not, how much they jumped from last year to this year.
I mean, that's not what Abazi there is.
Okay. But then Leon said, right, literally, I just want to make sure we tie it all together, right, that the property values have increased 12 to 30 to 40% from 2000 and they have, right?
And so real estate traditionally and historically is a hedge against inflation.
I like this. Keep going.
So if you're looking for a way to hedge yourself against inflation, there's certain investment vehicles that you can partake in that are going to help you do that. One of which is real estate. Because yes, everything has gone up in value.
Correct.
I should say in price, right? Groceries, automobiles, used cars, but so is my home's value. So we bought our home 6 years ago for this price, right? Let's just throw an arbitrary number, $300,000. And here we are 6 years later, and our value's going up to $800,000, right? So that's been a way for us to hedge against inflation in other areas such as produce, groceries, cars, vacations, airfare travel, gasoline, you name it. Right?
So you're making up this inflation through your real estate. Did I understand you correctly? Do you guys agree with this?
Yes.
So the property increases in value, right? And the value that you gain from this property, it's fighting off the increasing prices. In example that you mentioned a little bit ago would be the gases, the groceries, the food, and the airline fares, even vacations for that matter.
That's right. And let me,
I like it.
yeah, let me go a step further. So then somebody's going to say, well, how does that really help you? If you bought your house for $300,000 and now it's worth $800,000, how does that increase in value help you combat inflation? For us, what we did, this is a personal choice we made, is we did a cash out refinance.
Okay.
And we tapped into that equity and pulled that equity out, right? And then you say, well, what are you going to do with that equity? Well, there's various investment vehicles that you could pour that money into to help you combat inflation, right, with your investments. And here's another thing. One of the best ways to survive a recession is to have a lot of cash, right? So how do you survive a recession? No debt, have no debt, and have a lot of cash in the bank.
Right.
Right. And for us, that's been a huge help because we'd use that cash to pay debt down. Right. And then we'd use that cash to put in the bank. And someone will say, well, if it's sitting in the bank, it's not really making any money. And with inflation, you're losing money. Well, then take that money out and put it in an investment vehicle that's going to help you make back whatever the inflation rate is.
I think he nailed it.
Absolutely.
Gio, what do you think?
I think I want to know what your opinion is on that.
I'd be more than happy to share. So
No.
I'd be more than happy, and we talked briefly about this on our previous podcast. So, in a few words, the money is better served in a vehicle that's going to give you the return much higher than the inflation rate is today. It's not going to be on CDs from the bank. It's not going to be on money markets from the bank, annuities, or stock, or anything in the stock or bonds. It is in only what? Real estate. So go buy them. And Jamie brought up a good point here when he said, cash out. We've got some value in our properties that we own today, whether it's a primary residence, second home, or even investment property, right? Take the cash out, satisfy some of your debt. So when recession does come, which is inevitable in this case, well, we have to look back 6 months to see and compare where we're going, right? So we're not at that. We're getting there.
Hold on. We've had 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. By definition, we aren't in recession. Now, we know we live in a day and age where definitions are changing, including the definition of definition. But if we look historically at what a recession is, what constitutes a recession, we are literally in a recession right now.
But it's not being felt here.
Where?
In our pockets. Because people are still consuming. They're still spending. They're not. This is why the interest rates are going higher. I mean, you guys can chime in and I help you understand that better. But myself, I'm spending as if there's no recession. I'm going on a vacation. I am buying food as if, it didn't matter to me because I'm not looking forwards. But I'm not even looking backwards. I'm continuing life as it is.
Sure.
So believe me, I'm with you on this. So where I want to take it is now that you brought up a good point, recession, and we want to expand on this, perhaps the next podcast. But let's leave recession where it's at. Okay. Now let's keep things with the inflation, right? So we all agree that we're in a recession, 8.5%. That's the data just came out a few days ago, and you and I and all of us in this room believe that the best place to put our money in today would be in real estate, right? So Leon and I, and of course, all the 4 of us, we are loan officers here, and we have customers or clients that come in and we help with pre-qualifications and pre-approvals. So what do we tell our customers that are, afraid of of the inflation? What should we tell them?
If it's a smart move, buy now. We had the conversation the other day. If you are up to your neck in debt, don't buy a house now. It's not a smart move for you. If you have made the proper steps and it's the right time to buy, yes, purchase your home. because now is better than never, right? If you don't have a game plan, now is the right time to make a game plan, right?
I agree.
I'm going to piggyback off what you said. I would certainly advise anybody who has, and again, going back to your point about consumer spending.
Right.
Consumers are spending, but credit card debt is an all-time high.
Correct.
Right? So they're spending on their credit cards, and those interest rates on those credit cards are going up, 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 and up, way higher than interest rate of mortgage. So I would definitely say, head off your debt. If you own a home and you have an interest rate that's at 3.5%, let's just say, and you want to part with that interest rate because you don't want a 5 or a 5.5, but you have $100,000 of credit card debt, and you're at 28, 29% of your credit card debt, and you're making minimum payments, we're never going to pay those off. So use the equity in your house to pay off your debt, because one way that you can survive a recession and hopefully not a depression is by having no debt. Because then if you have any money left over after paying off your debt, then go buy an investment property to grow, or, to build up your real estate investment portfolio. And then I'm going to say one other thing. If you have a lot of debt and you're renting, especially down here, $3,500 a month for a 2-bedroom, and you have the ability financially to purchase a home, I would certainly look into doing that so that you have your home that you own, that you're building up equity. Because if you stay in your 2-bedroom at $3,500 a month and you're waiting for a market to shift, or you're afraid of what's going to happen in the future, you're helping your landlord pay their mortgage.
With that said, because I'm going to bring you back with that point you just made. I want to bring you back, and I need to have an entire podcast just based on that, right? Because you're making some points that we need to cover in depth, and I don't want to rush you through them.
No, that's not.
And I'm also intrigued, and I want to bring up a couple other things that my mind is just going 100 miles an hour right now. Cool. So, as always, guys, we are here to serve you, reporting live from the Good Vibes Room. Erlis, what you got for me?
So if you're a renter, you heard it from one of our own, Jamie Rossi. He told you how it is. If you're paying a lot of money in rent, this is the time to do your due diligence. Connect with any of us here today. And the best way to connect with us is through our main website. It's mvmgrp.com. You will find all of us in there, all of our contact information, most importantly, the location to our office. Until next time, it's been a pleasure serving you again. My name is Erlis Abazi.
Leon Palacio.
Gio Batin.
Jamie Rossi.
Till next time, we'll see you soon.